before I get started, to give everybody some context, as the audience, you guys are members of the Vancouver City Council, and I am a member of the Vancouver Affordable Housing Agency. Thank you very much for being here this evening. As a member of the Vancouver Affordable Housing Agency, I believe it's imperative that all Vancouver residents deserve affordable housing. Therefore, today I'm here to propose an implementation of a 2% vacancy tax on any empty apartment unit in the downtown Vancouver owned by a non-resident. So before I get started, let me run through today's agenda. First, I'll discuss the issue, which is a lack of affordable housing supply in Vancouver. Then I'll discuss the cause of that, which is foreign capital coming to the Vancouver market. Number 3, I'll present my solution, which is the vacancy tax. After that, I'll talk about my benefits. My first benefit will be an increase in tax revenue for the City of Vancouver, increase in its housing supply, and a decrease in the cost of living. Finally, I'll touch an implementation plan of this tax. So, let's talk about Neil Vanguard before I get started. Neil Vanguard is the CEO of a consulting firm in Vancouver. Family man, 3 children. He lives in Nanaimo, actually, which is a city off the coast of Vancouver, on Vancouver Island. He lives here because him and his family can't afford to live in Vancouver. He actually takes a seaplane every day from Nanaimo to Vancouver and then back to Nanaimo. He does this because his family, they can't afford to live in Vancouver. So this is the issue that we're facing. There's a lack of rental supply in the downtown Vancouver. And the reason for this is there's many vacant apartments. Right now it's estimated that 5% of all apartment units are vacant in downtown Vancouver. That equals 10,000 vacant apartment units. Right now the vacancy percentage unit is 0.6%. You compare that to the United States national average from city to city, it's actually 6%. With a 0.6 vacancy rate, it's dangerously low for our citizens. So let's move to the cause. Why is there so many vacant apartment units in Vancouver? It can be mostly attributed to an influx of foreign capital into Vancouver. In the last year in Vancouver, out of all the purchases in Vancouver, it's estimated that 33% of all purchases were from foreigners. Foreigners are attracted to Vancouver because it's a safe and sound investment, as well as there's many tax advantages for owning a property in Vancouver. Let me remind you of the tax advantages of owning a property in Vancouver. If you own a principal residence and it increases in value, when you sell that property in the future, any increase in value, you get that money back tax-free. Contrastly, if you own a property and you rent that property out, it's deemed an investment property. When you sell that property in the future, if it's increased in price, you pay capital gains tax. So what is happening is foreigners are coming over to Vancouver, buying properties, calling them their principal residence, and then holding on to them and selling in the future tax-free. This is the issue, the cause of the issue. So today, I'm here to present a solution for this, which is a 2% vacancy tax on any empty apartment unit in the downtown Vancouver area. So the way it works is this: 2% on the market value of a home. If you want a home that's $1 million and you decide to leave it vacant, you can expect a tax bill of $20,000 at the end of the year. If you're a Canadian resident, you will be exempt from this tax. If it's your principal residence, it's exempt as well. The way we will monitor this is we will work with BC Hydro, and we will monitor gas and water usage. If an apartment does not use gas or water, we will look into that apartment to see if it's vacant or not. Finally, if an apartment is vacant for 6 months or more, that's when it's categorized as a vacant property. So that's the solution that I am presenting today. Let's move into some benefits that you will get if we do this solution. The first benefit will be an increase in tax revenue for the City of Vancouver. The second benefit will be an increase in housing supply for our citizens. And the third benefit will be a decrease in the cost of living. So let's move into benefit number 1, which is an increase in tax revenue. Let's compare 2 cities, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne has a population of about 4 million people. Vancouver has a population of about 1 million people. Melbourne's experiencing much the same issue. Foreigners purchasing properties in Australia, holding on to those properties, and not renting them out. The City of Melbourne has actually done some research, and they expect that with a 2% vacancy tax, they can expect an $80 million increase in tax revenues. Vancouver, about a quarter of the size, we can expect about a $20 million increase in tax revenues. Now, I know you're thinking that with this tax increase, will that lead to a potential loss in foreign investment? So let's take a step back and look at a concern that you may have with this tax increase. As you know, this past summer, you implemented a 15% foreign buyer tax. Any foreigner buying a property in Vancouver now pays an additional 15% on the value of that home. Since it was implemented the last 5 months, sales volume has decreased, no question. Market value has actually gone up 0.2%, staying relatively consistent. On the right-hand side here is a chart you're obviously very familiar with, the 2016 operating revenue budget for the City of Vancouver. As you know, 57% of all revenues are from property taxes. Property taxes are based off the market values of the homes. With market value staying consistent, with the increase with the 50% foreign buyer tax, we do not believe that by implementing a 2% vacancy tax will impact foreign investment. I hope I've answered a concern that you may have. Let's move back into some more benefits that this proposal will have for the City of Vancouver. The second benefit will be an increase in housing supply, something very important to the Vancouver Affordable Housing Agency. Let's look at another city, Camden. It's a borough of London. So London's been experiencing much the same issue. Foreigners coming into the city, purchasing properties, holding on to those properties, and not renting them out. Camden introduced a vacancy rate in the early 2000s. They saw an increase in housing supply of 1/3. So we hope in Vancouver, if we implement this vacancy tax, we'll see much the same results. Let's look at the third and final benefit of the implementation of a 2% vacancy tax, which will be to decrease the cost of living in Vancouver. If we can increase supply, decrease the cost of apartments, then we hope to attract and keep young professionals in the city. By attracting and keeping young professionals in the city, we hope to attract more corporations to Vancouver. Vancouver actually lags behind Calgary and Toronto in the number of corporations per capita in the city. Now that I've addressed 3 benefits of my proposed solution, let's look at an implementation plan of this tax. We hope to have a vote right after New Year. If this vote passes in January, we will then formulate the law from February till July 2017. And finally, we will hope to implement the law starting January 1, 2018. Let me leave you with one final thought tonight. As a member of the Vancouver Affordable Housing Agency, I believe it's imperative to implement this 2% vacancy tax for the well-being of the city and the well-being of our citizens. Thank you very much for being here this evening, and I hope you strongly consider my proposal. Thank you.